Alright, welcome to this case study. Today we're looking at a case study that we did in the home furnishing space, Swiss market only. We went from 120k per month, which should be around 150k USD, to 1.25 million USD per month. As I said, that is Switzerland only, super small market. With only 9 million people, and that's the only market that we did in this case. So with no further ado, I would say we go right into it. In detail, we started in April-ish because the season kicks off there, and now today recording this is the 26th of August, so the peak is already done. We have another couple of weeks to go, but it is worth it to talk about the numbers over the last weeks and month going into Q4. We already netted 4 million in revenue, which is around 5 million in USD. We spent only 334k on ads. That is a total marketing efficient ratio of 14.9. This brand particularly has a AOV of $2,000, and we did around 2,500 net orders. Majority of it was of course new customer, and the overall cost per acquisition was at 144, which is quite insane, but yeah, really nice case. So if you are in the space and you are running an e-commerce brand, doesn't really matter which venture, but or which vertical, but if you are between 50 to 500k, you seem to have like some sort of product market fit, and we can help you to go to a million beyond applying this exact playbook, right? And I don't want to pitch anything here. I just want to run you through the numbers, how we do things, and then you can decide by yourself what you're going to do next. Of course, sometimes it's the offer, sometimes it's the structure, sometimes it's supply chain or different things. Sometimes it's the retention, depending on the brand that you are. But there's really one bottleneck that you could maybe solve to go to the next level. And this case shows you that even if you have 2 or 3 puzzle pieces that are not aligned, we can fix them and run you up, right? So we did the same thing with the Facebook audit here, and then the founder said, okay, let's go ahead and move on. And how we look at things is that if you look at the brand performance, really doesn't matter which brand, you are looking at their ads or matter in Google most likely. You look at the hopefully some sort of offer, and you have the shop, right? But what I'm always saying is that a really good offer can be sold on shitty ads and a medium shop, right? But a bad offer can be sold with the best ads and a good shop, right? So you need to have this really good product market fit, or having, or you create the product market fit with your offer, right? So ads, obviously the main channels are Meta and Google. The offer should be in best case increase your AOV and not decreases. What I see a lot of times is that somebody's just giving a discount, which actually doesn't help in scaling. And also the offer should increase conversion rate, right? And also the shop should sell the outcome but also the benefits, right? In the ads we only sell like the outcomes and rarely sell the benefits. We can like obviously have some product demonstration and get the benefits out of it, but like majority of the things are happening in the shop, and we want to focus on the outcome on the ads, right? So what are you going to do today? Like, how does an audit look like from ours? How did we adjust the offer, Google Ads, Meta ads, and what did we do with email and retention? Because that is actually not our part, but how we function is that if we want to have the best performance possible and we want to have the maximum return on invest, we will make sure that if the traffic from Meta and Google is good and converts for like 5%, for example, you still have 95% of people who can opt in for your email that you can send emails to, or if somebody purchased something, they're going to purchase again, and all the game, right? And that is what we want to maximize on a done with you basis. We just say to the founder, look, do this and that, and we did exactly the same thing here. So with no further ado, let's say the audit, right? This brand had no offer, right? No offer, nothing to say yes to. We had a price, we had no bundles, we had no guarantees. You can buy everywhere, whenever you want, to every price point. So there's no special no special reason why you should buy at this place before. Obviously we changed all of that, so we had a really great offer. We increased AOVs, we did risk reversals, and obviously we made sure that the things that they're buying online were just available at this particular online store, right? The Google ads were like okay-ish, but there was so much more potential. So we did our thing. We separated brand and traffic out of there. Then generic traffic and shopping traffic just increased in quality. The algorithm learned better. We performance bucketed like different products. You say we have our hero products and we have like a low performing product. Obviously, they should get different spend. That is what we did. And also meta ads, which is one angle, and we apply the whole creative strategy to make sure we have the creative diversity and have everything in place that we are reaching net new people, right? And I'm gonna talk in that to that about that in just a second. Um, Also, we fixed this in this order, right? There's no sense in running Meta ads or Google ads, and then maybe Google ads with the demand you can make some money. But like if you have a shitty offer, no offer, you're gonna have a hard time on Meta. So we started with the offer. We reorganized things. We also helped him with the calculation because he didn't really has his like a CAC in place where he wants to, or his customer acquisition cost where he wants to land, where how much profits he's gonna make. He was like really like this old school type of finder, right? And we helped him to break everything down. We built the offer, which was amazing because the offer was a 700 euro product, and he was having costs of the product of just 70 bucks, right? And with an AOV of 2,000 or even like 4 or 5,000, and you give a 10% discount, for example, as an offer, you lose 500 bucks, right? But what if you can have the full AOV, but with just the extra cost of 70 bucks, right? Big difference. So we built a completely new offer which just hit from the first day, and we rebuilt Google, and also we had a lot of things to do on Meta. We did the whole creative diversity, also enough volume, etc., etc. But as I said, we're just gonna do that in a second. And yeah, the offer. Um, we stacked the offer here really. We had a bundle in place where people could potentially upsell or like cross sell to a different product instead of like just cutting prices. We added like a money back and satisfaction guarantee, which is a no cost add on, right? We had this offer that I just talked about with this hanging chair, like it is actually 700 bucks, and this was free for every order above 1,500 bucks. And then we had so much social proof that we added on the page from the Google Maps and from the reviews itself. So that was amazing. So we gave the whole page a new look, a new social proof layer, and that helped a lot in conversion rate as well. So the Google ads, we had a couple of proven sellers that are just no-brainers. They were really good priced with the offer. They were just like our bread and butter, right? So they get an own budget basically, saying, look, this is the target Google. We want to have this acquisition cost. Give me as much as you can, right? And that is where it really took off. Then there were bucket B, which he didn't had no clue about before, but in this case we had a bucket where he had good products, but basically they were zero margin. And so why should you push that product? You can do 1 million a month and have no margin. Doesn't make any sense. So they got some budget just to bring people to get high quality traffic, and then we were seeing these people also buying different things, but obviously you need to have a different speed on that or different power. So that was one bucket. And then on bucket C we had like low performers and products that just needed to see how they're performing, etc., etc. So and they were not part of A and B, so this was really a separate bucket. And yeah, that was all done from the ground on, all calculations, all like performance interpretations and stuff like that. So everything is done by us, and worked out pretty well. If you see the numbers compared to the year before, we were able to obviously get much more attention, but also we just doubled basically. Or more than doubled the revenue that we made. So that was Google did 1 million alone, with just only 160K in spend, which was around 30-40% more that we spend in the year, or that is the customers spend in the year before. Really good result, good return. So that was good fun. Also, I have to be honest, like there's brand traffic in there. Obviously, in the performance side, it was separated, but all in all, really solid result. Meta ads, right? We had Meta ads. It was a great client. The head, he was like, yeah, we can be a little bit bold. We can do fun stuff. So we did fun stuff. We did high volume, and we also hit a high hit rate. doesn't matter what somebody is saying, like you should drive high volume, but you should also drive high quality. If you are just running on high volume and you don't have any quality, your volume is like for nothing. But if you are combining the high volume and the high quality, you will get some really decent hit rate, and then you can like scale like crazy, right? And nothing can cap this account at this point, right? If you have a good offer, you have a great creative strategy, you have great creatives with great volume and quality, you are on a winning rate, right? So we keep raising the output until the hit rate starts to fall. At that point, the accounts were like a little bit of capped, but we had a different cap in this project, right? Um, if we had an increased volume and our creatives didn't hit like the first ones that we did in the beginning, we were just too aggressive on Switzerland because it's such a small market. So we were like, okay, let's go a little bit down in volume, increase diversity or avatars, and then we were back on winning streak, right? This is just what happened on a daily basis. You are here to prove that the market is working. You're here to prove that different concepts are working, but obviously you will also tap into things that are just not working as much, and that is normal as part of the process. But this is also why you have a testing process in place and you have a scaling process in place, right? So with that being said, this is what real creative diversity looks like. If you have diverse content, different kind of style, you will reach different people, right? Every persona gets attracted by a different thing. The one person is attracted more to static ads, the other person more to UGC, the other one is more to demonstration videos, and the other one is more to AI videos, right? But what's gonna happen if you just serve one specific style, like a classic UGC style? You will just reach the same person over and over again, right? And what's gonna happen on technical side of things is that your frequency will go up a lot, and if your frequency goes up, obviously your cost per acquisition goes up. And that is a mistake that I see so often in a lot of ad accounts, right? So don't do this mistake. If you are having something like working, like an angle or like a problem, you should not focus too much to do too much of the same thing. You should just swap the avatar and swap the presentation of the problem, right? And then you're gonna reach net new people. That is the place where you want to go, and then you have effective scaling. Also, attribution is a big thing. In this particular project, we used Cloud, which is really common for the German speaking market. Also, we used the attribution model of them. Obviously, if you have something like Triple Whale, you have the attribution there. But if you just look at Matter and Google data and then Klaviyo data, every account is going to say that this is my conversion. I was the person, I was the channel that brought in the person, right? And then in the end of the day, nothing makes sense. Like Matter is attributing 10 sales, Google is attributing 10 sales, Klaviyo is attributing 2 sales, and you have actually 11 orders, right? It doesn't make any sense. So if you have the correct data, you will have the right foundation to make further decisions and scale in the correct way, right? And also, if you have the correct data, you can see your real marketing efficiency ratio. You see where the first clicks and effective traffic is coming from, and you can optimize for that as well. So just to give you a benchmark of the numbers that we did on this very high AOV account, we run everything broad like you should. You can test like interest taking or nucleides, but this time we only had 100k to spend, so we went broad because Switzerland is a small market and you want to go and reach as many people as possible. And why should you then stack the same interests over each other? That because it would just increase frequency basically. And also we just excluded buyer. That is pretty much the only exclusion that we did. Obviously you give Matter the segment audiences, which is a super important thing to do. But yeah, we tried to keep the frequency as low as possible. But this was the first year with this client, and we had a great time. But next year we're gonna double that, and doubling means different channels, though it means a little bit different approach in avatars and how long the buying journey is, and starting a little bit earlier. But that is the thing for next year, because if you work with an agency, you should also have like a opening conversation like in the beginning, and also ending conversation if you end the working relationship or you have like a seasonal business, because you want to make sure that you take the learnings and then bring the learnings into your next season and your next venture, and you just iterate based on your learnings and not just random, right? We had an average of 35% hook rate in this account, 20% hold rate on average, and all ads are about 1 minute 20. And the special thing was this account was so healthy, we had below 10 euro CPMs, which is amazing. CPC is only 50 cent, so we were able to bring a lot of traffic for really good buyers. So that was really solid. How does our creative strategy looks like? As you can see, like we have a different kind of stuff. Like we have ready like we mix like the before and after concept, right? We have the main problem as a call out, and then we have something like a question, like that is something that you want, right? And as a headline, so that's really like engaging. So that was a really high performing creative right there. And also in the middle you have like your classic, more like UGC style, but this was so well done. The editing team just killed it. Great engagement on this, great engagement overall, great reach. So really good creative here. And then this is based on the account of the client, and also we run like testimonial ads, or like testimonial ads, and also celebrity ads with a different account. So we have also whitelisting and partnership ads, and that worked really well. Super good engagement as well. People were recognizing a person, and they were coming to the store. So that worked brilliantly. Also the creative diversity, as I said, keeps the frequency low, brings in new people, and that is the job of Meta, right? So that is just a quick little example right here. And then, as I said, the decline was not touching email marketing at all, right? And so we are not an email marketing agency by any means, and I don't want to be one, right? And there's people out there who are doing a phenomenal job, right? But in some cases, you just need to help the client along the way, and we can build 80% of the flows and like know 80% of the stuff, and that brings the majority of the results, right? So what we did is we consulted them, say, look, you should do this and that and this and that. And this is why we added a bunch of new customers that are existing customers though. But it is a bucket that he would never go after, because he was saying, look, they bought like 5 years ago, why should they buy another one? Yeah, because they use it and they want to upgrade and this and that. And eventually, before we even touched the ads, we were sending the first mails, and then we made another, I think, 100k in profit just by sending out the mails, right? So we rebuilt the pop-up to bring on the traffic that didn't buy in the email sequences. We had all different segmented flows that we really like separated and did more than just a generic welcome flow. We did rearrange everything, that the product life cycle just increased, and also we were focused on a new customer. So even though we sent mails, we were saying, look, this is the system, we have nothing to do with that. We are just focusing on that new customers. Eventually there were people who sitting in the email list but didn't buy back then, but that's none of our business. We want to focus on paid ads, but this again help for the overall result, and that is how it should be, right? If you are working with an agency, they not only should look at they think paid ads on Meta or paid ads on Google, they also said, look, your offer is this and that, your retention looks like this and that. That is the job of an agency, and everyone who's saying different just wants to bring more money in their pocket and doesn't give a shit about results at all, right? So after 1 month though, it was really clear that this year is going to be bottlenecked by the supply chain, right? We could easily have done 2 or 3 million a month, right? But the stock was just not there, right? We just had a certain amount of stock available because he was seeing declining sales since COVID basically. And he was saying, look, you guys, I bring you on. This is probably my last chance to turn it around. And obviously we turned it around, and now he has like a business that he can rely on in the next years and years and years. And now he is also confident to bring on more stock, right? So next year the projection is to minimum 2, 3, 5x from what we're seeing here. But it's also, it shows that not every case study needs to be at 100 million, right? If you are running a business and you make 100 grand a month, you should be way further in your journey, even though you have problems that you're dealing with, right? It is the most normal thing. You're not alone. Like a lot of ecom founders struggle with that. So that's just the reality of it, and I see less and less people talk about it. So 3 moves from here. Supply chain first. We're gonna lift the stock ceiling for 3 million a month before lifting spend. So this is gonna happen next year as well. We also optimize now everything for profit instead of volume, because as I said, we are running low on stock for the rest of the season, and we want to 3 to 5x for next year. And also the second order owned by email that was never there, and now it is there, and it's going to make more money next year, that is for sure. So we are helping the customer or the client to get some new products in that we can upsell and cross sell, etc., etc. So we make more money on the back end as well. And yeah, that's been it. If you are running a brand and you are saying, look, I want to grow. I want to have a partner in my corner that grows with me. We are the ones, because we helping brands to the next level. And I know how agencies, and they all want 5 months upfront paid. We are working a little bit different. You're happy to find out in the call with us or with myself. And as I said, I give you everything that I see in your brand, Matter, Google, offer in general, and then you can decide by yourself. And I think that's the fairest thing to do. If you want to have a great study, you know what to do. And with that being said, thank you so much for your attention, and I catch you in the next case study video.